Matt here, talking about Scrapeboard forum accounts. On the forum accounts tab here from in Scrapeboard, jumping right in, have a couple of basic things. To get a real understanding of how to use Scrapeboard, you really need to just pop open your web browser, go to some forums that you're going to be trying to create accounts on, and just manually create an account. And then go through and do everything you would do in Scrapeboard, but do it manually in your web browser. And you need to run through that to get a good understanding of it. And once you have that, you'll be able to understand how Scrapeboard is working a lot easier. Obviously, if you're going to create a forum account, you would need a username. So I would type in whatever I wanted here as an email account, or rather a username for the forum. Then I would need a password, whatever I want to be my password there, and then the actual email account from the email accounts tab I want to use for this particular forum login. And then I can save this, and it pops it down here into the saved login details. I can then open up these other ones, or any one I want. I can update information. If I wanted to change it, I can clear information, that sort of thing. Change the email accounts for the various email accounts that I might have set up. I can delete one, so I can delete the one I just made or whatever. Then when I actually want to create forum accounts, you're going to select one, whatever you want. But all the forum accounts that you create, you're going to load up a file. And so say you load up 150 forums that you're going to try to create accounts on. Whatever you select here, it's not going to rotate through these. It's just going to take that one. So test username 2, and it's going to try to create that one username on all the 150 forums. So if you wanted to do each one, you'd have to make this as a run through 150 and then make this as a run through 150. So I would load up a list of my forums that I want to use. Of course, using proxies is probably a good idea. Again, it's always going to pull from the proxies tab, whatever's loaded there. Then I would just go ahead and hit create accounts, and it's going to run through, and it's going to try to check the platform. It's then going to try to check to see if there's a CAPTCHA for the registration. If you have DCAPTCHA service enabled or the manual CAPTCHA service enabled, then it'll let you either punch it in if it's manual, or DCAPTCHA will try to solve it. If it solves it, it will then of course try to register you, and it'll either come back with a successful and it needs an activation email, or you're just completely registered. If CAPTCHA service fails through DCAPTCHA or through you punching it in, or if you don't have either set up, and you're just running through, then it's going to respond appropriately. And it's going to remember it's a memory mapped file, so the file you're working with, it's going to auto save into that file. When you're done working with that file, you can release it and load a different one. And then your settings tab here just lets your connections and timeout goes. Um, Ask for answers of questions we could not answer. This is very important. This is part of Scrapeboard's anti-spam setup. So when you go to register for certain forums, it'll give you all the information, and then it'll say, what color is the sky? And you're going to need to type in blue. Or it'll say, type the fourth word in this sentence, and it'll give you a sentence, that sort of thing. So what happens is Scrapeboard keeps a global database of these, and as you answer these questions correctly, they get put into the database, and when Scrapeboard comes across them again on a forum, it auto uses its database. If you want to contribute to the database, then you check this box, and when it's trying to create forums, if it finds a new question that it's never encountered before, it'll pop up a box and it'll let you answer that question. So you want to make sure that you definitely put a little care into answering these questions, because it's not only going to affect other users down the road as Scrapeboard tries to use that information to create accounts for them, it's also obviously going to affect you, and then you want to take into account that anything they do is going to affect you too. So Scrapeboard has measures built in so that people aren't just messing around with this and causing you grief by putting in the wrong information. But if you want to help contribute to the anti-spam database, go ahead and check that. If you're gonna run Scrapeboard and leave your server or PC or whatever it's running on, you're not going to be in front of it, probably don't want to check that, because it's going to be asking you questions and you're not going to be there to answer them. So that pretty much wraps up the forum accounts.